Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Today, the spotlight shines brightly on Melrose Mindoro High School, one of the best basketball schools in the area by far, no question about it. You talk about girls basketball strength in this area, well, Melrose Mindoro is a shining example. With us today, head coach Joey Arneson, along with Erika Simmons and Katie Christopherson. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
Well, you know, Coach, my memory of you goes way back to the Blair Taylor days when I knew you as a student athlete. And perhaps you remember me as a referee, but you had quite a career as a high school athlete.
You know, I did. I enjoyed playing. I played 4 sports. And start of the year, I played a lot of baseball. And in Blair, we played summer baseball. So it really worked out well. So then I could play golf, which was one of my passions. I ended up playing 2 years of basketball and 2 years of football. My junior year, I hurt my knee pretty bad. And after that point, I decided football and basketball had to take a back seat to my true passion at the time was baseball.
Well, I'm really familiar with Blair Taylor, and I know the strength of their programs. And you had some coaches, too, that perhaps played an impact in your style of coaching.
Really, I did. It goes back to my freshman year of high school. Rick Schmidt was my baseball coach, an outstanding gentleman. I've learned so much from Rick over the years. He's very disciplined, but yet he made practices as fun as possible for us. He really pushed us to be the best we could be. And under Rick, we gained a lot of knowledge that eventually made it possible for us to make the state tournament.
Yeah. And next to Coach Erika Simmons. Now, I am sure our viewers know that name, both names, but Erika Simmons, boy, when you look at the number of great athletes at Melrose Mindoro High School, you certainly are one of the very best that perhaps has ever wore a Mustang uniform. 3-sport athlete, academics. You're a shining example of an athlete from a small town. There's no question about it.
Thank you.
But academics first. Is that something that you've always believed in, or does that come from your parents?
My parents have always instilled that academics really should come before athletics. I mean, we really focus on both heavily, but, you know, without academics, you can't participate in athletics anyways, so they've always made sure that my grades are high, and, I mean, it hasn't been that hard, like, to get me to do it. It comes naturally for me.
Here's one thing that really is significant when I look at your profile. And this is for our viewers to really embody. You received the Most Coachable Award. And to me, that epitomizes the kind of athlete that I like to coach and I like to be around. How did you get that?
I got the Most Coachable Award from my volleyball coach, Coach Kowalski, my freshman year, I'm pretty sure. You know, she was a new coach as well, and I was a new kid coming into Melrose. I moved here my freshman year. So, you know, I was pretty shy, and I was really open to taking any criticism from her because, you know, of trying to fit in as a new kid and trying to make her feel comfortable because she was new too. So
you had and you still have an appetite to learn. Now, you said, we talked a little bit before we went on there, you said you were shy. It's like, I looked at you like you were kidding me. So you're not shy anymore. Describe for our viewers your personality.
I'm very shy to people that I don't know, but as soon as I warm up, you probably are hoping that I would talk less.
I like people like that, and I also like next to me Erika Christopherson. And that's a name that's pretty common in the Melrose Mindoro area. And, of course, our viewers know that. Is that tough to be a Christopherson?
There's a lot of background that comes off, so a lot of pressure that gets put on you when you hear the last name.
Do you feel that pressure?
Sometimes, but it just comes so easy.
In other words, you're a gifted athlete.
Yeah.
You are, huh? So, but volleyball, basketball, track and field,
Nope.
Senior.
Volleyball, basketball, and softball.
Softball?
Yeah.
So you're gifted in all 3 of those. Do you have a favorite?
Definitely basketball. No question about that.
So, but you've excelled in softball and volleyball, too.
Yep.
So talk about your accomplishments.
Softball wasn't really, like, my favorite sport. Like, I just kind of did it to be in it, but being a freshman, I was like, oh, I'm not really going to get to play much. I started left field, and I batted first, so that was that was pretty cool. And then my sophomore year, I caught, and I didn't think I would like that at all, but I loved it.
But just like your friend Erika, you're coachable, so when
Yep.
the coach puts you in a position, you just do your best in that position.
And when I was little, I used to pitch, and I did not like that and was hoping that they weren't going to put me there, but if they did, I guess I'd do it. But
So you said your love of the basketball comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Describe for our viewers your skill set.
Well, I just remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old, my brother and I would go to West Salem, and they would do a camp at like 8 in the morning till noon, and I would do that every Saturday, and that is definitely where I got most of my skills from, starting that little.
So work habits.
Mm-hmm.
Work habits is something that young people struggle with, adults struggle with. Is that something that you learned from your parents?
Yeah, they definitely pushed me to do my best all the time. Not in a way that like they made me want to quit basketball or not do it, or I always wanted to.
And Erika, a three-sport athlete too, and we talked about academics, all conference. I mean, both athletes here from Melrose Mindoro, unbelievable accomplishments in all three sports. Talk about some defining moments in your career. Now you're a senior.
Oh man, I feel like there's a lot. Thinking back about this last 4 years, I would definitely say last year scoring my 1,000 points, me and Katie both hit it in the same season. That was really cool. You know, you're surrounded by your team, and the whole community was there and so supportive. And
well, describe that. You know, I know that you scored the 1,000 point, and I've refereed games when somebody has reached that milestone. Describe the emotions when you scored that 1,000th point.
Emotions were high. You know, the gym was completely filled that night, even though it wasn't going to be all that great of a game. You know, we still have the community coming out all the time and supporting us. I remember, I'm pretty sure Katie had the assist to me too, which made it even more special. One of my fellow senior starters. You know, the emotions were just high. I guess everybody was so happy for me. There was no jealousy, you know, anything like that. You know, everybody was so happy for me.
Describe these two athletes for our viewers, Coach.
You know, Terry, I don't know if I could pick two better athletes to coach over the last 4 years. These girls, they mean so much. To me personally, I look at them as like my two daughters. They've been wonderful. I have no complaints about either of them. They've always, on and off the court, always given their best. Rarely have they ever complained about anything. But they're just good kids. You know, they're the type of people you want to surround yourself with. And I've been very fortunate that they do so many things on the basketball court that make my job easier. And certainly two girls we're definitely going to miss in the future.
You've won 58 regular season games. And we're going to talk about some of these incredible accomplishments. But before we do that, describe the culture, which to me is a prerequisite of having a good team. Describe the culture of Melrose Mindoro High School.
I think the culture has changed over time. I've been there for 10 years now, and from the day I took over to the point it is right now, it's been a huge transformation. And really a lot of that transformation is the players that are surrounded on that team right now. The culture is, I don't want to say we're laid back, but we've created a culture where we listen to the girls and we respect their opinion. And they, in turn, respect us and they respect our opinion. And it's almost twofold. We work really well together. I think that's really what makes us so successful.
So Tom Crean talks about, now he's at Georgia, talks about toughness. He says toughness in culture is not necessarily buying in, but locking in to what the coaches and the school is trying to teach. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes. And with the team we have right now, they have bought in. If we didn't, we would not have made it to Green Bay last year, obviously. We do a lot of things. We evolve over the years. Over the season, we change things here and there, and they buy in. I tell it to them. Very rarely do they ever ask me why. You know, in girls basketball, that's one of those questions you get asked a lot. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Team, they bought in. They believe in the system that we run, and it's been really a building block to the success that we've had.
I read an article recently about coaching athletes at all levels and basically not just worrying about the 5 starters but the entire team. And the article, to summarize it, was good coaches find value in every single player, whether they play much or not. How do you build value in your substitutes?
I would say that is a difficult job for a lot of coaches, but I do feel that myself and my coaching staff does a nice job at that. My goal each season, each game, each practice is that weakest player possibly on your team, I want them to feel as important as probably our best player.
How do you do that?
You pick them up. You point out the little positive things that they did well in practice. Maybe they made 2 free throws in a row. Maybe they sprint. Maybe they were the hardest. You know, the fastest runner today. They sprinted. You could tell they were working the hardest. You point that out. You pick out those positives. I always try to say 3 positives for every maybe 1 negative, and that really works out well.
Yeah. Well, we used to say find for every game and every practice. I would tell my coaches find a magic minute that you can focus on and highlight what an athlete did. Find that magic time and continue to reinforce that. So, well, good. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to learn more about our 2 athletes and about Melrose Mindoro girls basketball right after this.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, the spotlight today, Melrose Mindoro girls basketball. You look for a team in the area, a program in the area that raises the bar, that's the team. No question about it. Head coach Joey Arneson, Erika Simmons, and Katie Christopherson. Well, you ready for some stats? Joey Arneson, Coach of the Year, 16-17, WBCA All-Star Coach. 10 seasons as a head coach, Melrose Mindoro's winningest head coach in history. State runner-up in 2018, and regional and conference and sectional conference champs. Ranked number 2 in the state the last 2 years. And wow, you got a target on your back, by the way. Last year 27-1. This year 10-0. As we taped the show here on December 27th. You got a break, by the way, until January when you play Gilmanton. When I say a target on your back, do you feel the pressure with that much success?
Absolutely. You know, I think any coach, you know, with the talent we have, does feel the pressure. We are getting, I feel, everybody's best game every night. We're everybody's best. We're the Super Bowl game, you know, against any given team, and there's definitely that pressure to win. But I think we wouldn't want it any other way either. We do well under the pressure. We're used to it at this point. We've been successful for quite some time, and with that pressure, it kind of pushes us all to get a little bit better every game.
I read an article about the characteristics of a great team, and it reminded me of Melrose Mindoro girls basketball under your leadership. And there were 4 qualities that really were provocative to me. One was the charity, the virtue of pulling for others before yourself. Erika, how do you do that?
You know, I think when you, in the game of basketball, there needs to be a good balance of selfishness and selflessness. You know, I think our team, we have very good chemistry. I think that you know, when you're on the court, you know what everybody's next move's going to be. You kind of know what to expect from each other.
The second quality, humility. I think that describes you too, Erika, Katie. Treating others with dignity and respect, and winning with graciousness, giving rather than taking all the credit. Give credit to others. That describes you.
I would say if you want to earn respect, you need to give respect first. So I would say as a coach, he he knew that he was going to be successful, but he knew that he had to like gain our trust for us to get it back from him.
Also, sportsmanship, treating others with dignity, winning with, winning with dignity and losing what you haven't done much, but appreciating your opponent. How do you do that, Erika?
Again, I think that's something that our team is blessed with. We're all very good at sportsmen, I would say. I think that just comes pretty naturally for all of our girls. I mean, we've never really gotten in trouble with it or had to be talked to about it. It just comes naturally.
And to her point, too, I notice a lot of games, too, maybe a player from such and such team is on the floor. Our girls are almost always the first ones to pick them up. And that's something I'm very proud of them for always doing. Absolutely.
Have you taught that?
We did talk about it early a couple years ago, how I wanted to be represented that way. But I haven't had to bring it up in the last couple of years. It's just come natural to a lot of them.
Mental toughness, where a lot of athletes really self-destruct when adversity comes, temptations, setbacks, and so on. And the mental is to the physical as 4 is to 1. Your mental approach needs to be 4 times more important than your physical. Describe your mental approach to playing athletics.
I would say it goes as you grow up. I know I was super frustrated when I was younger, and it was just really hard to play. But when you get people around you who support you too, it's way easier.
Yeah. And a lot of athletes have routines, Erika, on game days to get themselves mentally ready. Do you have one?
Like freshman and sophomore year when I was a little bit more timid around the team, that's definitely not the case anymore. But I used to listen to music before every game by myself, but I've actually leaned away from that, and before every game we listen to music and jam out and spend time together, laugh till we cry. It's
probably not my kind of music, but
yeah.
I always like to watch practices, even though I'm a retired coach, because that's where you really develop a team. Just like classroom teachers, because how you teach in the classroom basically determines your effectiveness, and the style that you practice determines the success of your team. Describe for our viewers a Melrose Mindoro practice.
Our practices we have designed where the first 15-20 minutes are usually the same drills every practice. After that, we try to mix it up. We try to do varying different drills. Between drill to drill, there's very little downtime. I want them going from one drill to the next, kind of make time management not an issue. We want to get in as much stuff as you can in the little 2 hours that we have each night. We try to make it as enjoyable as possible for the girls. As we're trying to teach a specific skill or show a new play, or maybe modifying a play for potential team coming up.
Yeah. So as we tape the show here on December 27th, you're 10-0 and you play Gilmanton. But let's talk about the rest of the season. What caught my eye too, as we move toward the second half of the season, is at the end, before you get into the postseason, you play Onalaska at UWL.
Right.
So talk about the rest of the season.
Terry, what we did last year about this time last year is we looked at our schedule, and to keep growing as a team, we realized we had to make our schedule tougher. Our conference, I don't want to say it's a weak conference, but there are some teams right now that are struggling. They're rebuilding. And our conference being so large, we don't have a lot of non-conference games to really push us. So it's really important in our 5 or 6 non-conference games to schedule the best teams that we could. And this year we really did a nice job at that. As you alluded to, the Onalaska game right before the playoffs is really going to be a great test for us. It's going to really show us where we're at. It's really going to build us up for hopefully a deep playoff run. I truly believe Onalaska is going to be every bit as good as a lot of teams that we're going to see coming in this tournament run. They play a quick style of game. We designed that game to have it after the seeding meeting, and it was by design because whether we win or lose, it's not going to hurt us in the seeding, and it's only going to get Onalaska and ourselves better by playing each other. We're playing at a neutral site, a bigger court, just kind of all these little things to build up for hopefully a deep tournament run.
We're going to showcase that game, too, with two great coaches, Joey Arneson, Shane Smaling, a friend of mine, too. Again, Saturday, February 16th. We'll talk more about that as the season rolls along. Rapid fire drill, ready? Katie, you're a senior. You've accomplished a lot. Next chapter of your life starts in the next few months. What's going to happen?
I'm going to Stout to play basketball and do special ed or elementary ed and a minor in coaching.
Stout, a great program. I've worked a lot of their games over the years. Did you have other opportunities too?
Of other places to go? Yep, Whitewater was my last option. I was between Stout and Whitewater.
Role models, who do you look up to? Who's inspired you along the way?
My mom and dad for sure, and then my AAU coach, Brandon Fanning. I played with him the last 2 years, and he's taught me so much.
Yeah, I happen to know him. So, and role models, you've talked about that, but what about some people that you really enjoy playing against?
Lexi Wagner from GT, she's my favorite. I played AAU with her too, but just having like a showdown with her once a year, we play them. It's cool.
She's an excellent player. She's going to be on the show too sometime after the first of the year. Philosophy of life for a senior in high school?
I would say don't take anything for granted because you never know when it will be your last.
Yeah.
Whether you get hurt or what happens.
What's something people that are watching the show today don't know about you? Anything?
I don't like being in the city, so I never want to live in a big city.
You don't want to live in La Crosse? You just want to live in a small...
I like small town.
Well, if you live in La Crosse, you can travel to the small town. It's like, what's something that our viewers may not know about Erika Simmons?
Oh, I have a very, very huge family. I have over 100 cousins.
Really?
Yep.
So when you have family reunions, do you know all of them?
No. And I feel really bad for not knowing them, but, you know, that's a lot of people.
Something tells me they know who you are, though.
Yep. I normally get approached by them, and they're like, hey, and I'm like, hey, how's it going?
So maybe they should have name tags on it. You don't need a name tag because your cousin's there. So leadership. Describe leadership.
I would say leadership to me is being able to maybe not necessarily go against other people, but do what other people aren't willing to do and not fearing what could happen if you do.
Take the road least traveled?
Yep.
That describes you. And you're going to another chapter of your life pretty quick, too. So enlighten us as to what's next for Erika.
I've committed to UW-Whitewater to play basketball. I'm going to be a biology major with a pre-veterinary track, so I'm going to be a veterinarian.
So you got a tough road academically trying to build that into your basketball.
At least 8 more years of school.
Good. If you could change the world in some way with your bubbling personality, you probably could do something significant. What would you do?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
We'll come back to you then because I think Katie probably has a...
I don't. I don't.
How about you, Coach?
If I could change the world one way, I would eliminate violence. Gangs and violence.
Yeah.
And drugs. Drugs would be number one.
I would say something about bullying.
Bullying? I'll agree with all that. I'll start with drugs, too, because with 15 grandchildren like we have, that bothers me, certainly. Violence, bullying, just where this world is going. We're not here to talk about that necessarily, but we have some intelligent girls that could change things and make things for the better. Couldn't we? Starting
Definitely.
with probably getting an education, making a difference. Just reaching out to people that need your kind of leadership, right? Because you're on a platform as a small-town athlete. I mean, you're recognizable, so a lot of athletes don't appreciate that, don't understand it, but I think these guys do, Coach.
Absolutely, I do.
So we want to wish you the best the rest of the season. Happy New Year again as we tape the show here in December. And goals for the rest of the season?
Finish the season, no losses.
Really?
Yeah.
So to Green Bay again, to the rest center.
Yep.
Goals for the season?
Definitely make it back to Green Bay and, you know, hopefully win that championship game this year.
Yeah, and I suspect the cluster of teams will be the same, so your goal is probably similar.
Yeah, looking at games 23, 24, 25, and 26.
Yeah, we'll wish you the best, and it's a privilege an honor to get to know you too, and you as a friend, Coach, having you on. We're just appreciative of what you do and the values that you hold true at Melrose Mindoro High School.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be back with some closing thoughts and highlights on a recent game right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install Carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, our cameras were at the Chuck D. Fieldhouse and the John Shelton Court last night for the Onalaska-Holmen doubleheader. Let's start with the boys' game. Onalaska's defense took center stage in the first half as they held the Vikings to only 11 points. The Hilltoppers continued their strong performance in the second half as the game was never in doubt. Carson Arntz led Onalaska with 14 points. Tyrell Stutley added 12. Sophomore Sam Kick had 2 3-pointers in the second half on his way to 11 points. Jimmy Gillespie led the Vikings with 9 points. Final from Onalaska, the Hilltoppers 68 and the Holmen Vikings 37. While the Onalaska girls continued their high performance in the second game of the night, moving within 1 game of first place Aquinas. Onalaska took control in the first half before Holmen rallied back after intermission, cutting the lead to 38-30. With the outside shooting of sophomore Haley Valiska, who totaled 14 points for the Vikings. Onalaska held on with the outside shooting of Molly Garrity. With 12 points, Olivia Gamoki and Lexi Miller contributed 8 points. The final from Onalaska, the Hilltoppers 54, the Holmen girls 39. Well, that's it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy weekend.